So now the Hangout can also be viewed on YouTube. So, as you know, you're welcome to pose your questions by writing them in the group chat or by just speaking out your question. Also, if you're not using earphones, you can mute your mic. This way there won't be any ambient sound that interferes with the Hangout. So most of you have already been in these Hangouts before, so there's no need to explain anything. Okay. Okay, so this is a space, this is your space, whatever questions you have that relate to your contemplation of your life, contemplation of truth, whatever you are contemplating, this is the place for you to explore whatever questions you have. So please feel free. I have a couple of questions that were emailed to me. I will also address them later on. So satsang is meeting in presence, is meeting in truth, meaning it's not a meeting of persons, it's not a meeting of the mind, it's not a meeting at the mind level. The mind, there are many minds, my mind, your mind, his mind, her mind, my story, your story, my memories, my understanding, your understanding. Satsang is none of that. It is a meeting where you are meeting yourself. I know this may not be clear to some of you, but in time it becomes clear that what you truly are is universal and not personal. And that understanding in time dissolves the impression of limitation and the sense of angst and lack and incompleteness that comes along with this impression of being a separate person, a separate being. So it's, in a way, it's a dissolution. The contemplation of the self is a dissolution of the impression of separation, the impression of me, the impression that there is something happening to me, that there is some danger or some sense of urgency around my person. So if you have any questions. Hello, Ananda. And,
Hello.
address Ananda's. Nice to see you, Ananda. Um, you right. I had a great job interview a couple of days ago, but I haven't heard back yet. I expect the offer, but I am somewhat nervous.
What? After 30 years of contemplation, I'm still nervous about the results of the job interview.
Yes. Yes, we are nervous. I I would say that when we want something and when we feel that it's important for us to get something,
Mm-hmm.
there is, it's like it's a sense of importance, but it's all a play,
Mm-hmm.
It's all a play. It's it's all it's all completely free. You see,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't. It's not. There is nothing at stake. So when when there is a sense that, oh goodness, I will be augmented by that or diminished if I don't get it, but it's much lighter than that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be happier because of getting a better job. You're not going to get happier because of getting the relationship that you think is going to bring your happiness. No, what brings your happiness is the end of this me seeking. You see, so in a way, I think I've mentioned that before. When we are desiring something, what we are desiring is the end of our desire. We're desiring the end of personal desire.
Right.
So when we attain what we hope to get, or what we are striving to achieve, when we attain that, at that moment, our desire, our sense of separation from something, our desire comes to an end. So desiring, in a way, is a personal desire. There's a subject and an object, and there is a separation, and the subject gets close to the object, and at some point they merge. And when they merge, this impression of personhood dissolves. The impression of personhood, which is expressed as desiring forms, desiring an experience, desiring a better, a bigger, larger bank account, a bigger house, or whatever. So those, all the desires that are connected with the phenomenal realm, have a separate subject from them. It's, you separate yourself from your wholeness, and so you desire an object, but you're desiring the end of your desire.
Yes.
So instead of desiring the end of your desire in time, you can end your desire right now by simply noticing, meaning turning your attention, contemplating your wholeness. Contemplating that the awareness that you are is whole. And whole meaning everything that appears out of that, out of your wholeness, out of consciousness. It is a manifestation of consciousness, let's say. Yeah, like your night dream are a manifestation of you, the dreamer. But they don't make you. Your dreams, they don't make you happier. They amuse you. They entertain you, and they're fun. They're very creative. They can be ingenious, but it's all sweet. It's so we apply for a job. We say, oh, this is a great job. It gives you less hours to work, and better pay.
Right.
So it's good. It's good. So you go after it. You say, okay, I'm going to apply for that job. Yeah. But
And a beautiful, sweet environment.
Yes.
A beautiful, sweet environment.
Beautiful. Yes.
That's the hook.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's not. There's no hook. No, it's lovely to have a sweet environment. That's very lovely. There is no hook in that. The hook is in believing that will make me that my happiness lies there. That in other words, if I don't get it, I will be less happy.
And then I don't deserve my name.
Right.
And
because you are placing a condition upon your happiness.
Yes.
Yes. You're placing a condition upon your happiness.
Yes.
Whatever the condition is, I mean, nirvana. It doesn't matter. It's still a condition, right? It's still any condition is a limitation. Yeah.
Well, yes. Yes. And this point about wholeness that you make, I think that rang as the real resolution. At any moment that wholeness is contemplated, then all that subsides as in terms of being an actual problem or irritant or something like that.
Yes. As soon as you leave your wholeness and separate yourself as a person, as soon as you do that, you are in trouble. You are you're moving away. You moved away from your wholeness. I'm just checking okay, I'm just checking one thing here.
Somebody's got their mic on, I think.
Oh, it's no problem. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay. So when you turn your attention to presence, you come to the seamlessness of being.
Yes.
Yes? Seamless, the borderless. There's no borders to presence. Doesn't end anywhere and start somewhere else. There isn't presence A and presence B. It's just an ease of being. It's like, in a way, you could say in religious terms, it's a gift from God. Wholeness is a gift from God that God gives to herself. So it's just a matter of turning your attention, rather from turning your attention to some object, whether it's a job, an environment, a relationship, etc., an experience. Turn your attention to your wholeness, your totality.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say, when you move away from your wholeness, you have the problems, and I would say that's pretty much how it feels. It feels like the experience is wholeness for the most part. I mean, it feels like good fortune to at least know what you're talking about in terms of wholeness.
Yes.
And then something comes up and it hits many relative assessment.
Thought gets engaged. Through the senses, there is the perceived world. Yes. Perceived bodily sensations, the perceived world, and then the senses trigger the thoughts. Thoughts perceive the object, they name it, and they qualify it: good, bad. Oh, beautiful girl. Oh, nice house. Oh, big bank account. You see, it makes these comparisons, this analysis, and it's all conditioned. It is all learned. It's all learned. Yes, so it's learned. It's a download. But it's learned from where? It's learned from a corrupted source.
Yes.
It's downloaded from the vat of unhappiness and misery.
It's unloaded from a dream, downloaded from a dream state.
From an unhappy dream.
Someone else's dream state.
From an unhappy unhappy dream state. I don't mind a download from a happy dream state, because there is a happy dream state that says, oh, beautiful sunset, beautiful breath, beautiful being, just
Yes.
love and beauty, innate love and beauty.
Yes.
Oh, that's a lovely dream state. I love that dream state. And then I turn myself, because the dream state that is happy refers to an experience. It refers to an experience. So when you say, oh, I love a beautiful sunset, what you are referring to is the experience of love, the experience of beauty. Yes? In that experience of beauty, you say, of course, there's been a memory of that, but at the moment that you are experiencing beauty, there is no memory. There is no memory. It is just complete beingness. It's complete.
You know what? This shows me. I've been okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I get that. And this whole thing about being in love or loving someone else.
Yes.
And I see that the whole lifetime there's been a hesitation to go give myself to it, completely, and that's because of all these secondary, like you said, from a sickness almost way of looking at things. And then when it's love without a limit, it's coming from my wholeness. It's coming from.
You see, you don't need to give yourself completely to love. All you need to do is to cease holding back. You don't need to give yourself. It's just cease placing the condition. When you cease placing a condition, when you cease placing any limitation, the wholeness is there. You see? You cease saying yes to this and no to that. Oh, I love you, but I don't love you. You see? When you say, you are adding a condition. Oh, I love you, but I don't love you. I love you when you cook me a very nice meal and you take me out to dinner and you buy me flowers. I don't love you so much when you come empty-handed, etc. You are placing these conditions, you see. So you realize, no conditions. Just beingness. Okay? So you're not surrendering yourself. You're already surrendered. Consciousness is already whole. It does not need to do anything to become whole. You don't need to do anything to be love. You are love already. Simply, you need to watch the tendency to place conditions, meaning the mind tendency to place conditions. And the tendency to place conditions and to sort of spoil the party is because you perceive yourself as lacking. And you perceive yourself lacking because you have identified yourself with a form, with a body-mind form. Because a body-mind form is impermanent and exists in time and space. So given you have identified yourself with a form that is impermanent, that exists in time and space, you experience some sense of lack and some sense of incompleteness. And so that already, right from the start, you have spoiled the party. Yes. And then you say, oh, good. Oh my God, I need to get this girl. Oh, I need to get this beautiful car. I need to travel around the world. I need to go to India. I need to go to the top of the mountain.
Yeah. And so what's really struck me in what you've just been saying is that thing of what you really showed me is that idea that I need to give myself is that where fear comes in, because then it's like, oh, I'm going to limit my spaciousness. So if I give myself, and there's no such thing as giving.
What does this mean?
Yeah.
What is?
It's like a hooligan. I mean, like a ghost.
Yes. So you contemplate, like, what is it that gains and loses? Because whatever gains must lose, and whatever lose must gain. I mean, loss and gain come together. So if I am gaining, that at some point I'm going to lose. Okay, maybe I'll gain for this year. I gain the next year. Oh, I gain more. The year after, oh, I'm gain more. And the year after that, maybe I lose. So gain and loss come together. So there is no happiness in gain and loss. That's obvious. But then you can ask yourself, well, what is it that gains and loses? It must be some form, some object, something gains and loses, some form. So that form, whatever form it is that is known.
Yes.
Is known. Because a form that is not known, what would that be? Okay, so any form, like for example, right now, this perception is a form. Yes, you could say it's a form. This bodily sensation is a form, but it is known.
Yes.
And the knowingness is always refers to consciousness. So rather than turning your attention to gain and loss, turn your attention to the knowingness that perceives this impression of gain and loss. Because that knowingness does not gain, does not lose. It is beyond that hoaxy game.
Fantastic.
Okay, Nanda. Nice to see you. Okay, please say hello to Sunny.
She's right here. Thank you.
Hello, Sunny. Hello, Sunny. Hello. Hello, Sky. So, Sky, you ask, are the ongoing... Oh, I'm sorry. Before that, Lawrence. Sorry, Lawrence, I oversaw your question.
Actually, it doesn't matter, Magdi. The questions are far more interesting than mine ones, so forget my question.
No, I'm going to go chronological because I know later on. Okay, so you say, hello, Magdi, what meditation technique do you use? I don't use any, yeah? So I don't use any meditation technique. So, do you want to ask any other question about that, or that's it?
Well, I don't know. Well, I'm constructing. What do you do instead? I suppose it's not do meditation techniques. I'll pass to Sky's question. I think that's the best thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, how do you contact? I suppose say, how do you? I'm thinking of another way, but how do you go to think or not think, or?
Oh, okay. Yeah. How do I go to no thought?
Yeah.
I don't go to it. It's the stillness, the peace, the tranquility, the no thought, meaning the peace, is it's not something that you really go to. It is something that you die into. In your ending, in your absence is the peace. In your absence as an entity is the peace, the meditation. This meditation is the absence of a meditator. That's meditation. So meditation is an absence of any sense of somebody and something that needs to be done by the somebody in order to ... Okay? So meditation is the absence of the meditator, and it is the presence of consciousness. So the absence of the meditator, meaning the absence of the me impression, and the presence of consciousness. But consciousness as a universal presence, not as a personal presence, because as long as there is still a personal impression, there is still a shadow. Even if it's a faint veil, it's still a shadow. So it's It's a universal consciousness that is borderless, that has no center and an infinite radius.
Thank you.
So as you're contemplating this belief and this sense of being a separate body-mind, being a man or being a woman, as you contemplate that, if your contemplation is done correctly, it is seen to be a hoax. It is seen to have no validity, no foundation, and it will start to dismantle. Yeah, and as you continue with your contemplation, the dismantling of this sense of separation, of personhood, will go on and will be replaced by the light of consciousness, which is there. The light of consciousness shines onto everything. It is what meditation is. So meditation is the universal light of consciousness shining. Yeah. It's shining. It is not shining on somebody that perceives it. It is shining as the self, as the I am, as presence, as beingness. So you are this beingness, you are this consciousness, you are this, what perceives, what is hearing these words right now is the light of consciousness. It creates, perceives, and extinguishes instantaneously out of its complete freedom. What you truly are is that. Plus some thoughts that you are something else. Those thoughts that you are something else and the sensation that you are something else. That's more the bigger part of it. The sensation that I am some form. That is the add-on. It's the add-on. But there is no... When you are dreaming that you are a pink flying elephant, you are really not a pink flying elephant. You may perceive yourself as that. You may feel like you are that. You may speak as a pink flying elephant, but you are not. You wake up and you realize, oh, you see, because all your dreams appear to you. Like right now, this perception is a dream perception. Okay, you could say it's a waking dream perception, but it's still a dream perception appearing to you, you consciousness, you see? You consciousness, you awareness, you presence, you beingness. That is complete freedom, you see? Complete freedom and complete creativity. It's amazing, the creativity of consciousness. Just consider just the senses of perception and of the auditory senses, just or contemplate anything, contemplate your finger, just this. It's amazing, the creativity. It's dumbfounding. Yes, it's quite a wonder. So meditation is truth. So meditation is love. Meditation is happiness, freedom, beauty, innate. It's not something that you have to do or become. Simply have to undo the false. Allow the false to be. Don't be carried by the current of the me current, the current of the miserable, unhappy current of me, this body-mind identification. All body-mind impressions arise to that which is beyond all forms, And yet, without that consciousness, what are forms? What's a perception? What is this perception? Without the reality of consciousness, you see? So the answer to your question is in your contemplation of that which is real in this moment, that is not subject to any condition, that has nothing above it that limits it. That we refer to as I am, or that refers to itself as I am, as I. It refers to itself as I. Beingness, presence, awareness.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your questions.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. Look, thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Hello, Sky. So, Sky, you're right. Are the ongoing sensations in my body produced by my body-mind? No, no, Sky. The ongoing sensation in your body are not produced by your body-mind. There are not two producers. There are not two realities. The reality of consciousness and the reality of the body-mind. See, when you are dreaming that you are a 10-year-old boy that has a toothache, okay? And you ask the question, is this toothache that this young boy is experiencing, is it the result of that young boy's mind, body-mind? Or is it created by you, the dreamer? Obviously, you are dreaming the young boy in your night dream, and you are dreaming the toothache that this young boy is experiencing. You're dreaming both the experiencer of the toothache and the toothache. So it is not the body-mind that is creating or that is producing the body-mind sensations. It is consciousness. Are my emotions a function of my body-mind? Yes, yes. Are my emotions a function of the body-mind? Yes. The emotions are a result of consciousness identifying itself with the body-mind. When you identify yourself as a man or as a woman, you have identified yourself with a limited form. In other words, you have reduced your infinity, the infinity of consciousness, to a limited body-mind. So now you're no longer, there is no longer the celebration of wholeness, the celebration of totality. There is the experience of being an incomplete, meaning immortal, incomplete, meaning a mortal body-mind, a body-mind that is subject to conditions. Yeah? And there are all sorts of conditions, which are mental conditions. For example, you may imagine that your happiness depends on your wealth, or your happiness may depend on having a wonderful family, or you may imagine that your happiness depends on having a healthy body, etc. And all these belief structures, these thoughts, these conditions upon your happiness are the result of your identification, as a result of you, consciousness, identifying yourself with a limited body-mind. And when you identify yourself with a limited body-mind, there are contractions. In the space is no longer an open space of being, the space becomes a conditional space. It depends on the weather, it depends on the money flow, it depends on various conditions. So emotions are are bodily sensations, neutral bodily sensations with a me story, with a me impression, with a limited person impression. They're bodily sensations that have been personified. So you could, an interesting question would be then how to deal with my emotions. Are my thoughts a function of my body-mind? How do we deal with the emotions? And the way to deal with the emotions is by contemplating the me identity. Is there any validity for the belief that you harbor that you, meaning consciousness, because you are that perceives, you are the awareness. Is there any evidence that I, consciousness, is contained? Or is it just a belief, is contained in a form, is mortal, is objective? Or is it just simply a belief in the sensation? That's the inquiry that you need to conduct in order to get to your innate freedom and, of course, your freedom from emotions. Are my thoughts a function of my body-mind? And how could these quite apparent phenomena not also be who I am? Mm-hmm. So in a way, you could say that your thoughts are a function of your body-mind. If you are Japanese, you think in Japanese way. If you're in the Amazon, the thoughts that arise for you are connected to the environment, the forest, the river, the various culture that you meaning the body mind. I mean, referring to the body mind in this case. So in a way, the thoughts are connected to the body-mind situation. Actually, we usually refer to the mind as the thoughts. So thoughts and body-mind are one intricately connected whole. You can't really separate the thought from the body-mind. When you're looking at the tree, there is the thought of the tree, and there is the perception, meaning the worldly perception of a tree. They're not, separate. But what you fail to realize in your perception and your experience of the body-mind is that the reality of your experience is not a body-mind. It's not at the body-mind realm. Meaning, this perception right now, the reality of this perception, is not at the perception level. It is at the consciousness level. So thoughts, body-mind events, thoughts, perceptions, sensations are all phenomenal events. And it does not matter in what order they occur, because that's just further thinking. what matters in the contemplation and in the Advaita, in the contemplation of non-duality, is to realize that thoughts, perceptions, and sensations are subject to a higher reality. The reality of consciousness. And that what I am is that reality, that I am the reality of consciousness. And the world, body, mind, their reality is the reality of consciousness, given that there is one reality. That is the contemplation that brings the impression of an external reality, the reality of thoughts, the reality of sensations, the reality of a world, that brings them home. So are my thoughts a function of my body mind? Yeah, you could say that they're, you see, to say that a thought is a function of something else, you are taking two events, a thought and another thought. For example, you could say, is thought A a function or a result of thought B? You're taking two thoughts that seem to you to be separate, and you are theoretizing a causality or some sort of connectivity between them, a causality between them. And in doing that, you are attributing a separate reality or a separate you are separating the two different thoughts and bringing them together in trying to bring a connection between them, saying maybe A is causing B or B is causing A. But in fact, you don't experience those two thoughts simultaneously. You experience thought A, and when you're experiencing thought B, that, for example, a previous thought, you're actually experiencing a new thought, which is a memory of thought B. You're not experiencing actually thought B, because that thought is gone. So you're never experiencing two thoughts at the same time, or two events at the same time, that you can compare or that you can theorize a relationship between them. You're always experiencing just this one thought or this one perception. So in your question, are my thoughts a function of my body-mind? It's as if there is a thought and a body-mind that can arise at the same time, and can therefore be their functionality could be studied. In fact, they don't arise at the same time. There is only this arising. And when you contemplate this arising, whether it's a thought, a perception, a sensation, and you contemplate it correctly, you will be turning your attention to the reality of that thought, which is always consciousness. You ask, how could these quite apparent phenomena not also be who I am? Well, it depends. What do you mean by I? Because when you refer to I as something or somebody, you could say that the something or somebody is the thoughts, the impressions, the body, the sensations, the history. So you are looking at the phenomenal realm and saying, well, this set of phenomenal events is what I am. You could say that. But this very moment, what is it that is perceiving this perception? Is that an event? The perception may be an event. This image may be an event. But that which perceives, that which awares, the awareness of this perception, is that an event? Is that a thought? Is that a perception? So ask yourself, what is the reality that perceives? Because we all know that it is I that perceives. But we have a confusion about what this I is. We imagine this I to be a male, a female, a father, a mother, whatever. Is awareness right now, is that a female or a male awareness? Does it have a gender? Does it have any size? Does it have any shape? Contemplate not what is appearing, but that to which all appearances appear. That will take you to the real I that you are, that I am. That will take you to the correct destination of your question. Okay, Sky, yeah, thank you. It's nice to see you, Sky. Hello, Maria. Hello, Maria. Maria writes, hello, Magdi. I went to get my hair cut, and they used very cold water to wash my hair. It's making me cold just to read that. My head felt like it was freezing. Sorry to hear that. Then my hairdresser blew dry my hair with very hot air. I felt myself getting anxious about the possibility of catching a cold. I am taking a plane in the middle of the night and I'm already fearing, and this anxiety and fearing may actually bring on the dreaded cold. I am contemplating the wholeness of my awareness, but the sensation of the anxiety is in my tummy. Okay, first let me just say, Maria, that the anxiety and feeling, you're saying the anxiety and fearing may actually bring on the dreaded cold. Okay, I don't buy that. Okay, anxiety and fearing is just to say the anxiety and fearing are going to bring the cold. Now, what's going to probably bring the cold is yes, having a cold head and stepping out in the cold air and not putting a hat on or something like that. Okay, so Maria, okay, I'm sorry that this happened, because it doesn't sound like it's a really nice place to go get your hair cut. I would look in a different neighborhood for a hairdresser. but what's done is done. Okay, what's done is done. You don't need to carry with you any story about it. Guilt, what did they do to me? Did they damage my hair? Are they going to get me sick? Blah, 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 blah. You can just let it all go. Let it go. Let it go. What's done is done. It's behind you. At the time, you, for whatever reasons, you put up with it. But whatever it is, that's behind you. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Oh, Maria cannot hear me. Oh. Okay. Maria cannot hear me. Let's see. Well, I'm sorry you cannot hear me, Maria. I don't know what to do about that. Well, the Hangout is recorded on YouTube, but maybe it's my connection. Okay, Maria. So, just to say some more about these experiences that we have with our body. There are many occasions where we have experiences that are unfortunate, are unhappy. And we learn from them, okay? We learn, in this case, to go to a different hairdresser. And also when somebody's putting cold water on our hair, to say, hey, listen, can you, it's cold, can you turn on the hot water a little bit more? So we learn from these experiences. But what matters is to let go, okay? Because what's done is done, and not to carry it with you. Okay? And we carry with us stories because we still have some identification. See, we still have some identification with the body-mind. And any identification. Oh, Maria, can you hear now?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. You'll have to listen to the recording.
Okay.
So I'm just going to, just for a minute, mute your mic. Okay. If you want to speak, you might have to unmute your mic, because I was picking up an echo, so I just muted your mic. But you still hear me, yes? Assuming the answer is yes, and yes, you can hear me, yes? Okay. So let's see, do that here. Okay, and okay, well, so what I was saying, Maria, is that this identification, well, first, I'm sorry that this has happened to you, and I hope you don't catch a cold. So sometimes there are events that happen in our life, and they're unhappy events, and we do our best with them at the time. If we make mistakes, in this case, we went to the wrong hairdresser, or we didn't speak out when the cold water was being poured on our head. It happens, okay? But what matters is to let it go. You have to let it go. Don't carry a story about it. Don't carry, because a story about it is a story about me. It maintains me as a body-mind. Me as a body-mind is unhappy. There is no happiness in being a body-mind. Happiness is consciousness. Happiness is presence. Happiness is beingness. Happiness is peace, the peace of presence, the infinity, the borderless quality of presence. Not a concern about me in time and space. Not a concern about my health. Of course, we do our best with our health. We manage our health the best we can, our body the best we can, but we remain in our knowingness, in our freedom. We remain in as consciousness. You see, we remain as consciousness. And as consciousness, we do our best with the world, body, mind, but our happiness and our well-being is not at the body-mind level. It is in the revelation of what we truly are. See? So don't carry any residues. Let it go. Huh? Let it go. And what may help you is, well, biggest way of going at it is in realizing, noticing that you are this aware presence. Yeah, you are this aware presence, and that the aware presence is untouched by whatever happens at the body-mind level. And this way, peace comes to you. Because there are lesser concerns, you know, there are less personal concerns and not there. Yeah, well, that's all I have to say about that, Maria. Let's see. Okay, I guess you have to, if you want to speak, you have to unmute yourself. Okay, oh, okay, right, okay. Well, nice to see you. Have a happy journey, and yeah, and you know, just be happy. Yeah, you are beauty, love. Yeah, you are beauty, love, freedom, joy. You are the infinite self, infinite presence, you see. So we celebrate this body, you know, we celebrate this body-mind. It's a celebration. We love it all. We love it all. It's all, we love the whole thing. Yeah, everything. We love it all. Whichever way it unfolds, yes. And we don't carry any bag on our shoulder. Yeah, just empty-handed, open heart. Yeah. Okay, Maria. So much love to you. Yeah. Ever unhappy? What do you do then? So. Am I ever unhappy? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You'll have to ask the people who live with me, the people who interact with me. You have to ask them. Maybe some of my employees sometimes will find me very unhappy when they demo the wrong wall. Say demo this wall, and they come back and they find a demo this wall. So Maria is asking Tara, is Magdi ever unhappy? Well, Tara will have to answer that at some point in time. I don't think she is right now online with us, although I see her picture. She's resting. Okay, there is a question from Kathleen that I would like to reply to. Hello, Kathleen. I see you're with us. Kathleen writes, "I've gotten much better at not getting attached to my thoughts, but emotions are much more difficult, especially when it's a gripping fear or anxiety, and my heart is racing and I'm shaking. It's very hard to get detached from such a strong physiological reaction. How can I do it? I can't seem to get any space around it when it's taken over my whole body." Yes, yes, Kathleen. It is easier to let go of thoughts than to let go of emotions, feelings and emotions, because feelings and emotions are at the body level, and that's more, it has more density to it, more staying power to it than thoughts. When there is a thought that arises and that has a me quality to it, it echoes in the body as a feeling. So the thoughts about me in time, me in the past, me in the future, what happened to me, why did they speak to me this way, how did they do that to me, why isn't this happening to me? Whenever there are thoughts that refer to me as a person, as a mortal body mind, there is a bodily feeling, an echo. Now an emotion is one step further than the feeling. So an emotion would be like anger or jealousy or envy. An emotion is triggered by a certain circumstance that happens in your life, where the feeling, the me feeling, gets now elevated, becomes more of a giant. It's out of the bottle. So all along in ignorance, there is the field, the me feeling in the space. It's like a mist. There is a mist in the space, which is the me feeling. And on occasion, there is a storm, which is the emotion. When there is the emotion, and you're trying to get rid of an emotion, good luck. There isn't much to do there. You can, after the fact, contemplate the emotion, contemplate what happened. But during the emotion, the anger, the bout of anger, or whatever it is that the emotion is expressing, it's already, you're already in it's too late. But it's not the end of the game, because at the other side of the emotion, there is going to be the possibility of contemplating. And the contemplation is always turning your attention to the true source of the emotion, the true source of the feeling and the escalation of the feeling to the emotion, which is the identification with a me and the other. As soon as you're identifying as a me, there is another. And already there is the potential of the emotion. Because when there is a me and the other, there is a sense of separation, and there are all sorts of rules of engagement. And of course, there are violations of the rules of engagement. There are hidden conditions, and there is a potential of stepping on each other's feet and getting upset and angry about it. So there is the contemplation of this belief that I am a woman, that I am a person, that I am a daughter, a mother, etc., that I am this person. That is the contemplation that is the true antidote to all the negative emotions. The contemplation is, what am I truly? Am I a set of bodily sensations? Am I a structure of thoughts? Am I a whole panorama of perceptions? Or am I the awareness, the consciousness that perceives, that knows, the knowingness, that knows all these events without being touched by them? That's the contemplation. And of course, the contemplation beyond that is, once it is clear that I am awareness, to come to the understanding through the contemplation of awareness, through the contemplation of consciousness, that consciousness is universal and has no beginning and no end. It has no borders. The crippling fear and the anxiety always refers to me. What is it? What is it that is experiencing fear? What is it? What am I? What am I? As long as there is a me, there is a potential of all of these emotions, negative emotions. But there is space around it all. Now, right, when it's taken over your entire body, that's not the right time to be looking for the space, because you're already in the rapids. But as I said previously, once the storm is over, there is the possibility of contemplation. So any questions here? Ananda, you're right, the relative subject is also an object and has troubles. Absolutely. A relative subject, the relative subject always refers to some form of identification. So it's experienced. Yes? So when a subject is experienced, there is the impression that the subject is the experiencer. In fact, when you contemplate the true subject, the true experiencer, you find that you come to consciousness, and you find that that subject, which is the true experiencer, has no borders. has no has has no name. So while the way from the level of ignorance we refer to a subject, we refer to a specific subject, subject A, subject B, subject C, and every subject has their qualifications, their qualities, their personality, their DNA, etc. So this is how we usually refer to subject. In fact, there is only one subject, which is consciousness, because as you contemplate the true subject, the real subject, in this very moment, the true, so you come to the reality of consciousness. And that reality of consciousness, you could call it a subject, but I usually don't refer to a subject, because in our lingo, subject and subject, object, subject, dichotomy is usually what we mean by subject. So from that perspective, from the subject-object dichotomy, both the object and the subject are known, are forms that are arising in consciousness.
You know, I still wonder a little about this, the term ultimate subject.
Yes. you could say there is an ultimate subject. For example, in the object-subject dichotomy, there is the subject knows the object, and subject refers to a personal consciousness, let's say, okay? And it perceives the mind, its own mind. It knows its own mind. So the personal mind of that subject is the object of that subject, of that personal subject.
Right.
But there is something that knows this personal subject, which is this what you usually refer to as this personal consciousness, as me. There is something that knows the me, and it knows the me as belief structure. It knows the me as bodily sensations. It knows the me as a whole structure or series of stories and thoughts. So there is something that knows this me, which you can refer to as the ultimate subject. But it is important to understand that when we're referring to the ultimate subject, we're referring to the ultimate subject of all personal subjects.
Yes.
Okay? So it is one ultimate subject of all sub-subjects. So it's like talking about the ultimate reality of all sub-realities. So there are many sub-realities. You could say the sub-realities being the personal mind and the personal mind levels, because what I perceive here is reality A, what you perceive over there is reality B, and so on. But that's the sub-reality, meaning the reality at the mind level. But what knows this perception, is that personal? Is that limited? Does that have a location? You say that's the contemplation. Does that have a location? And as you contemplate the location of consciousness, you come to eternity and infinity. You find all locations to refer to it, but you cannot find any location that you can refer it to.
Yes. Great. Thank you. I missed the last satsang. I had an engagement, a prior engagement, and I watched it last night, and I saw you had a nice interchange with David. You know, for him it's 1 in the morning or something, so he can't always come. but it was such a sweet connection. I could just see, and why am I? Oh, it reminded me of Yoga Vashista. I've always loved that book, Yoga Vashista. It's the sage Vashista talking to Rama, who's the, you know, a seer in training, I guess, and it just had that feel to it. It was just such a sweet. I enjoyed it tremendously watching that. Oh, and that reminds me, you know, that it was really great to see you in Costa Rica, and now it had the sort of desired effect that now I feel even more your the oneness when we communicate this way. So happy about that, and thank you for all these opportunities.
Yeah, our love for truth can only grow, and there is but one destination. It's one current, the current of love. We can only resist it for so long, and then it feels as if we're losing our grip. And at some point, we're just taken by the flow, and then we are the flow.
Mm.
Okay, if there are any more questions? Okay, well, it's very beautiful to be with you all, as usual. Thank you very much for your lovely company, and we'll see you again soon, yeah? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Okay, see you all. Okay, very lovely.